Okay, guys, I wanted to show you my little workout space that I created, and it's just a bedroom in the lower level of my house. And I set this up right after we moved here because with COVID, man, I just really haven't been as committed to my fitness routine as I would like to have been. And I wouldn't really walk outside because the neighbors wanted to stop and talk. And then there was a debate of should I wear a mask when I walk, and then it's too hot, and then I can't breathe. But what if someone stops me and wants to talk? And it was just kind of getting to be a little bit hectic. And so I wasn't doing everything that I should have been doing. And so, one thing about life, it requires maintenance. And so, when you're not maintaining things like you normally should, you're just going to get into trouble. Like I got a little cavity because I dropped off of my normal routine, and I do quite a lot of things to try to keep my teeth healthy. And with COVID and the ordering, and I couldn't get to the store and I couldn't get the products, and little nightmare. So shock and horror when I looked in my mouth and saw that I had a little tiny cavity, but I'm quite certain I can heal it. I don't think it's a big deal. But my point to all of that is that life requires maintenance. I mean, when you even look at like the grass, if you own a home, you know that you can pull weeds one week, but then the next week or two, the weeds are back and they have to be pulled again. And so I was one of those people that just kind of rebelled against all of that kind of stuff and just got so frustrated. But now I'm just settling into the concept of this is just what life is, and life requires maintenance. So you got to work out, you got to take care of your body. You got to feed it good food if you want to reap the benefit of it. If you want a weed free and pretty yard, you got to pull the weeds, right? So I set this room up, and that's all of my weights. And I think my husband has some stuff over there. There's his yoga mat, there's mine. But what I really wanted to show you is this. And as you can see, I have a TV here. And so if you're not kind of hip to it, I use YouTube a lot for fitness videos. There are a lot of things that you can do that don't require a lot of equipment. I mean, a decade ago, we had the Nautilus machine and all that stuff in our house, and you don't even really need that anymore. You can go on YouTube and find fitness videos. I do a lot of Tabata and Walk Fit. Those require no equipment. I mean, you're just using your own body weight for the Tabata. And you just put a video on and you just go for 20 or 30 minutes. And I think it's wonderful. I just think it's a phenomenal time that we have all this kind of information at our fingertips. And so I have a huge TV in here, and I put some of the YouTube videos on. I do a lot of Tabata. I do a lot of listen to me, a lot. I don't do a lot. I do Tabata and I do HIIT training. I need to do more. But I'm really trying to get back into the shape that I was in. So this is what I call Operation Snatchback. So I do a lot of videos, and if you want links, just let me know and I can give you the ones that I use. But you can find them by just doing a Google search and find someone that you resonate with, someone that speaks to you, that you like the music, and maybe you like that they're funny, or you like their body and it inspires you, because you want to make it fun and you want it to be something that you look forward to doing. And I have found a couple of people that make it a little less painless. I don't love to exercise. It just is what it is. Now I love to do yoga, but as far as exercising, my little ball of tape there, I was taping something. But I do love yoga, but as far as the rest of it, I don't love it. But some of the videos that I watch make it fun for me. So again, find people that you like. Here is what I wanted to show you all. So there's two bikes here, And I'm going to talk about these a little bit because I think they are a great addition to a fitness studio or gym or even a corner. I mean, before I moved to this house, I didn't really have space for a whole gym in the house. And so I just used a corner in my bedroom. And this first bike that you see here was the one that I used. It's extremely compact. It was really cost effective. I think I paid $129 for this on Amazon. And when I got the other bike, I realized that I didn't want to get rid of this bike. And so it really does come in handy when my husband and I want to ride together. We put a spin class on the TV, and he and I can ride the two bikes. So eventually I'm probably going to replace this one, but you know, it's just like my friend. I'm just attached to it and I just don't want to get rid of it. But the beautiful thing about this, I don't know if I can show you. You just have to take my word for it, but you can kind of fold it up so you can really put it in a corner and get it out of your way. The handlebars fold up and the seat folds up. And I mean, it really doesn't require a lot of space. So if you have an apartment or if you don't have a lot of room, this is a wonderful piece. When you see the reviews on Amazon for it, and I'll put the link in the description below, the reviews are very, very good. And they have a lot of reviews, which means they've sold a lot of them. So don't sleep on its simplicity. It really does get the job done. And on the top here, it has all your pulse readings. You can take your heart rate. You know, it really was good to me. And I just didn't want to get rid of it. So eventually I will. And my goal is to get another one of these. And I found this on Amazon. This is a spin bike. So unlike this particular bike, you cannot stand up and ride. But on this one, I put the videos on, girl, and I can go. Like when they're like, stand up and pull the hill and sit down. And it's actually kind of fun. Now, this particular bike is a little bit more strenuous than the Mini. So depending upon your fitness level, depending upon where you want to start, if you are not in a good shape or if you have some health issues and you just need to kind of take it slow, you may want to start with this one. Like I said, I loved it. It served me well. This one, you can get, you know what, and I'll say this one is also really good, which is the reason why I got it, was because I hadn't really found a bike that I like. I had a bike in the past that I had in another house, and it was an expensive bike and I hated it. The seat was uncomfortable. It hurt my knees. It hurt my back. Something about it was really off. So when I went to get another bike, I didn't want to invest a whole lot of money and find out that I wasn't going to like it. So if you're looking for just a little bit of a segue, or, you know, kind of a get your feet wet on, do I really want a bike? For $129, $150, I mean, if you ride it for a year or two, you probably get your money out of it, and then you can kind of upgrade. So now this one, not to scare you off from it, is not a situation where it's so strenuous you can't do it, because that's just not the case. You can always start slow. You can always start on the lowest resistance, but I find that it does require a little bit more exertion than the other bike does. But I love this bike. I think that I paid, it was in the $200 range. The prices fluctuate. They have these kinds of bikes all over Amazon, and they are knockoffs of the Peloton. Peloton was coming in at $1,000 and $2,000. And so our brothers and sisters overseas have found a way to knock them off, and they have really made a good quality bike accessible for a great price. And This one is by Pooboo. I know the name is funny. It's Pooboo. And again, I'll put the link on this one down as well. I've seen the price fluctuate. I want to say I paid around $200 for it. I've seen them go up a little bit higher, but again, if you don't get this one, there are others out there. But now let me tell you what you're going to be looking for. And I did all the research on them before I decided to pull the trigger. And that is what they call the flywheel. If you see this wheel right here, if you don't get the proper flywheel, then the ride can feel a little off, especially when you go to stand up on it. When you stand up on it and you put your weight down on the pedals, you don't want something that's going to just take off and fly. So they say that a heavier flywheel is often better. So this one has a 40-pound flywheel, and when I was doing a lot of research, the consensus was that 40 pounds is probably where you want to be. But now they have innovated, and some people say you can get a lighter flywheel if it has this, that, and the other, but blah, 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 blah. Of course, everything nowadays can get so complicated. But for me, if I had to tell anyone, if you're getting ready to get a bike, because I've done the research, just look for one that has a 40-pound flywheel. 35 would probably be okay. Something else that you want to look for is one that has magnetic resistance, and this one does. So it just makes the ride smoother. And again, when you're standing up, some of that does become important so that it can kind of, you have a little bit of tension, a little bit of resistance. So you don't want to be standing up and have your feet just flying around those pedals like that without the proper resistance, because, you could maybe injure yourself. So again, do your research. If you don't want to just take my word for it, do a Google search on purchasing a spin bike. There's so much information out there. I love the times that we're living in. For all the darkness that we have, we do have some really good things going on. And one is the accessibility of information. So there you have it. I will say this, you probably can see it. This seat is not as comfortable as this seat. And so, that may be one of the reasons why I enjoyed this bike so much, was this seat is everything. So if you have a larger behind, and some of us do, mine isn't exactly large as much as it is flat. And because it is flat, that bone is on the metal, and it can become uncomfortable after a while. I don't have a lot of padding so on my behind. So when you see this seat, it has some cushion. You can see it has some cushion, but I just find this seat not as comfortable. And after a while on this bike, if I go for a longer ride, I am ready for it to be over. Not only am I physically exerted and out of breath, but my butt is starting to hurt a little bit. So if you get this bike, keep that in mind. The seats are replaceable. And when I read the reviews on this one, people even went as far as to link in the reviews and in the questions what seat they purchased. It's not terrible. I'm going to be honest with you. It really isn't terrible. But if that's important to you, this seat is cushy and wide and supportive. And this one is more like a real bike seat, except it has more cushion than a real bike seat. You can see it with my thumb, but let me tell you. So that's it, y'all. It is Operation Snatchback. I have gained too much weight. I am a middle-aged person. Menopause is kicking my behind. And yeah, it is just time to get it. Let you guys again see that flywheel magnetic resistance. It's 40 pounds. For the price, you really couldn't beat it, I thought. And the ride is so smooth, and you really do feel supported if you're going to be standing up on something. And I think this one could support around, I think it was up to 220 pounds or 200, and it may have even been 250 pounds. And that's important when you are looking for a bike. If you don't get this one, whatever one you get, make sure that you see how much weight it can support, especially if you're going to have a spouse ride it, or maybe you've got a grown son in your house that wants to ride it. They can be sometimes up into the 200-pound range, or sometimes if you're just a middle-aged woman, you can just be a little bit heavier. And I know that all too well. Like, if you look at me, you wouldn't think that I weighed as much as I weigh, but I weigh quite a bit. So make sure that you are looking for I've gotten a little bit denser, I guess, as I've approached middle age, but make sure that you check that weight capacity. So that's it. I am gonna do a little bit of yoga here, and then I'm gonna get me a quick ride in and get on with the rest of my day. Okay, guys, so yeah, we're just gonna get a quick one in and get on with the rest of our day. Happy, healthy, strong. Happy that we committed some time for ourselves. I know it's difficult if you gotta work, but carve out that time, even just 20 minutes. I just do a little bit of yoga, just enough to kind of relax my mind. And I'm gonna ride maybe 15 minutes. When you're talking 20 minutes in the morning, then you're in the shower, and it will pay you back. It will pay you back. I promise.